This is Planet 76, your source for all things Philadelphia 76ers. We've got another great episode coming your way today, and we're cleared for takeoff. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody, to Planet 76. I'm your co-host, Michael from Trust and Love. Troy with me here. We got a back-to-back episode coming
That's right.
up. Troy posted one last night after the Brooklyn Nets game. We got another one tonight, Friday night. And are we counting this? What do you think? You want to count this as 32?
Yeah, why not? Yeah,
or 31, 31.5? 32. Okay. Episode 32. Again, make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on Instagram. Go subscribe on YouTube. You know what to do, all that good stuff. To our loyal listeners, we really appreciate it. So, for those that don't know, again, like I just mentioned, Troy dropped an episode last night after the Nets game, which unfortunately ended in a loss. So we'll talk about the Nets game a little bit, but again, Troy recapped that. So if you want to hear his thoughts on that, make sure you go check that out. And we're also going to talk about Monday night's Grizzlies game, Wednesday night's Heat's game, and then we will also preview the 2-game road trip back-to-back. I'm sorry, it's not a road trip, but back-to-back. One here in Philadelphia, and then on Monday in Boston. So Troy, let's get in. Let's get into it.
That's the second set of those random home and away back-to-backs this week.
Very random.
I don't recall that being a thing that often.
Yeah.
And now we got 2 in 1 week. Brooklyn Nets game. We can work there and then work backwards, I guess, to Miami and then to Memphis and then onward to the future, what's coming up with the back-to-back. But the Nets, I don't know if you saw the the post I had on Planet 76, but basically it was 3 things to know about that game. Of the 3, highest paid players in that game, 1 was great, 1 was good, and 1 was bad. And that would be Kevin Durant was great, Joel Embiid was good, and Tobias Harris was not good at all. That's kind of my summary of that one.
I unfortunately was not able to catch. I watched probably 5 minutes of the game, and I listened to it on the radio on my way home from work. But I did not catch most of the game, and a lot of people were telling me, thankfully you didn't, because I believe they were down 15 at one point.
20.
Yeah. So and again, it ended up being close in the end. They only lost by 9, but I'd like to think that's probably due to the fact that the Nets put their bench in. Maybe again, I couldn't really catch most of the game. Or did the Sixers make it competitive at all?
Yeah, they did. So it was a game of runs. So the Nets were up 18 at half. Sixers started the second half on a 9-0 run, cut it to 9, got right back in it, and I don't recall it ever getting back up to 15 or 20. But the Sixers actually tied it twice. The game was tied with a couple minutes to go. Sixers were down 2 with 1:40 or so, and Tobias Harris missed a 3 from the corner that would have given them the lead. Several back and forths like that. You surely saw the Kevin Durant and one, right?
I actually, funny enough, very shortly before we were talking about recording, I saw that clip and I was like, just filthy. Filthy. Oh my gosh. I was I felt that for Tobias Harris. I felt it through the screen.
Right. Yeah, and I talked about this on the breakdown of that game. Was Tobias Harris is on KD. Why? Not that Danny Green's better, but my thought. Matisse Thybulle hit 2 threes. Matisse Thybulle. He might be able to make a play.
Yeah.
Can Kevin Durant score on Matisse Thybulle? Absolutely. But it's can Matisse Thybulle also get in a passing lane and do something crazy? Absolutely. He could have made a play there and got us the lead somehow doing something, but he wasn't even in the game. That was one issue that I had that I voiced last night. But outside of that, it was at least good to see the comeback. You know what I mean? It would have been nice to win it, of course, but to see them come back from down 20 without Tyrese Maxey was cool. Kevin Durant was just going to do what Kevin Durant does at the end of games. I don't even know what he had in the fourth. I know he had over 30 total, but the dude played really, really well down the stretch. Danny Green and Matisse were a part of kind of a run to start the fourth. I think we were down I want to say 8 going into the fourth quarter. And like I said, we got it tied with a decent run from the bench. Only 3 guys played off the bench in this one. Isaiah Joe was one of those, and he had 0.
Really?
And he led the team in minutes off the bench.
Only a 6. Wait.
So that's odd.
Oh, Maxey didn't even play. I just realized that. What? Yep. Okay.
So Isaiah Joe, though, I talked about this too, but Isaiah Joe had more minutes than Matisse and Andre Drummond, which was kind of odd, and he had 0. So it's like, if you're the guy leading minutes gets off the bench gets you 0, probably not going to be a good thing. But anyway, what are you going to do? Sixers dropped to 15-15 on the year. Cold stretch after beating the Golden State Warriors not too long ago. Losers of 3 straight. We'll work back to those. Maybe you can fill me in actually on the Miami game. Here's all I know about the Miami game. Jimmy Butler didn't play, Bam Adebayo didn't play, and Tyler Hero didn't play. And then Miami made a bunch of threes. Is that right?
Yes.
That is what I know. So fill me in.
Well, really, if
that's what you need to know.
No, if we're talking in the most simplest terms possible, that's all you need to know, because really, some I'm not even sure where I guess they drafted him, but Gabe Vincent from the Heat literally had a career night. 7 3-pointers, 28 points. Somehow, the constant theme for this team, one of many, is that they make guards of any caliber look like Steph Curry. And they just demolish the Sixers. It happens every year. It happens a few times per year, and it happened Wednesday. They only lost by 5, but you would think the way that the Heat were playing, especially on the defensive end, you would think that they lost by 30. It was just absurd. He had 26. Gabe Vince. Wow. I don't know where the Heat find these guys, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah, 26. So Gabe Vincent went off. I remember playing him last year, I think. One of those COVID games. COVID games are still going on. It's absurd how much this is affecting the NBA, the NFL. It's wild to see, man. It's wild.
Coronavirus putting up career numbers right now.
That's for sure. And then Memphis was a blowout.
Thankfully, I didn't watch that game either.
Neither did I. I don't even know what I was doing. I must have been working.
So yeah, some Sixers fan I am. I have not been. I did not watch 2 games this week.
Well, the thing that jumps out to me about the Philadelphia and Memphis game is that 0 Sixers finished with a positive plus-minus. They lost the game by 30. What is that? 35.
Yeah.
Well, the best plus-minus was Matisse Thybulle with minus 12. That is pretty bad.
It's horrible.
Isaiah Joe was a negative 15 in 16 minutes.
Danny Green, 17 minutes, 0 points. George Niang. Maybe for those that don't know, George Niang is in league health and safety protocols. Maybe he had COVID during this game, and that's why he only scored 6 points in 27 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I hate to do this, but you got to look at what Sixers are losing. They haven't won it. They've lost 3 in a row. You got to look at why. You have to look at why, and clearly this is why. We're breaking down why and how they're losing these games.
Right. No Seth, no Joel in that one.
Wow.
That's a big reason why too. You like to think, at least.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Outside of Tyrese Maxey, Tyrese had 23 on 9 of 17 shooting, and that's pretty much it. Tobias had 12. Charles
sometimes,
Bassey at 13.
I said this the other night. I was like, sometimes you just gotta laugh at this team because it's like some of the things that go on with this team and this franchise. It's like all you can do is laugh. Like it's wild.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's hilarious and upsetting at the same time.
Oh,
how the two of us, after we beat the Warriors, like, all right, let's go on a run. How are we going to go on a run? We're going to stay healthy. And since then...
Total opposite.
Well, I mean, seriously, when is the last time the Sixers had a full week with, like, I don't want to say their full roster, but, like, 8, 9, 10 guys that you know are out there, every night? It hasn't happened this year. It's been, Joel and Seth missing those games. It's been Tyrese Maxey not playing against Brooklyn. Korkmaz has been out this week. Niang's in health and safety protocols. And I get that a lot of teams are dealing with this, but there's also, like, the fact that the Sixers kind of, if you can say it this way, already had their health and safety protocol thing, like, a month ago. And we're still dealing with either injuries or non-COVID-related illness, which I think is what Korkmaz has.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, and it's almost like, at least for myself, and I'll let you share it too, but at least for myself, I think what is keeping me from hitting, like, the panic button is the fact that we literally have not seen this team play, like, 3 games in a row with their full team, right? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, that's a really solid point, and I think that's something that we've been talking about throughout at least the last few weeks, but also the fact that it's still 30 games, 15 to 15. Yeah, there's still it's been 30 games. I mean, we still have more than half the season to see unfold, and there's still so much that could happen. Like, the run that we want the Sixers to go on could still happen. Maybe 2 runs, who knows? But what you're saying, combined with the fact that, again, it's, when you really look at it, the season's still kind of early, and there's still a lot of time and a lot of games left to be played. So it's like there's a lot of time for things to fix themselves and things to happen and guys to find and teams to find their grooves and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well said. There is still time. There is still time. And hopefully that time is a good thing for the Sixers. Certainly the last thing I want to do is fall below 500, and we're on the verge. And we got a date with the Pelicans on Sunday to see if we can avoid that. Speaking of the Pelicans, that's got to be the craziest ending to a game I think I've ever seen.
Oh, that was wild. Was it like 3/4 of the court?
Yeah. I mean, and not only that, but the fact that Shea threw it up from almost half court, the possession before it. And I've seen more impressive game winners, I guess, in the sense, like, at least they were tied and it was going to go to overtime. It's always a better game winner if you're down. And you've seen, I mean, Seth's hit some from half court.
Right.
But, like, the fact that Shea just throws, I mean, that shot was wild, and it is vastly overlooked because of what Devontae Graham did to finish it. But, man, that's who we got on, Sunday night at home.
Yes.
You'd like to think we could take care of business in that one. I almost went to the Brooklyn game, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah, almost did.
Yeah, you live in New York.
Yeah, tickets were mad cheap.
Really? Cheap?
They were, yeah. You
really?
could get, I don't want to say the worst seat, but, upper deck for like $25.
What?
I know, I almost did it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but at least I didn't, because that would have been upsetting. At least I was a little more calm, and then, I don't even know. But, any player specifically we want to, I mean, we've talked about Tobias a lot. I talked about him yesterday. He's been one that I've defended a little bit here on Planet 76, and we've defended him. What's your, because I gave my take last night about his performance yesterday, but, like, what's your recent vibe or how you're feeling toward Tobias? Kind of the same? A lot of it,
a lot of it I think has been the same. I mean, at least since we last talked about him, which was probably not obviously not in your episode last night, but our last episode, which was, I guess, was that Sunday
after the Warriors? After we beat the Warriors.
Yeah, or Saturday. Yeah, the same. I mean, it's been only 3 games since then. Did he play all? Did he miss one game? No,
I think. Yeah.
Well, either way, I mean, it's only been 3 games since then, and a lot of. I'm like, until the regular season ends, like, and I'm still gonna wait it out and see if Harris can return to what he was last season, which was literally an all-star. If you forgot. So I'm gonna give him more time, at least another 10, 15 games at the very minimum, at least 10 to 15 more games, because again, falls right in line with what I was saying earlier, what we were both saying. Season's still very early. The season is still very early. There's no reason to, again, like you said, I'm just stealing your words. Hit the panic button. There's no need. Absolutely no need. So, yeah, I'm good. I'm good with Harris right now, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it, but just to add to it a little bit.
Yeah.
Tobias gets a lot of hate. I personally think, I thought of this today and I was like, ooh, that's good. I personally think he gets a lot of his hate because of his contract.
Oh, yeah.
But we can't blame Tobias Harris for his contract, right? I mean, because, one, it's not like Tobias Harris signed this massive contract and started playing worse. I mean, he's pretty much doing what Tobias Harris has always done, and it's not like we should have. If you expected Tobias Harris after he signs this deal to go out and average 25, 10, and 8, then you were sadly mistaken, and you're an idiot, because that's not what we thought he was going to do, right? I mean, I'm sorry, but...
No, I mean, it's... You're not wrong.
We can't get mad at Tobias because he was offered a contract and said yes. Now, I don't even know. Do we get mad at the Sixers management for... You know what I mean? But, like, Tobias Harris is doing what Tobias Harris is expected to do. Maybe slightly less this year, especially with the three-point shooting that's been down. I think he's like 29% right now. Again, that's only 19, 20 games that he's played in. But right, like, how we can't take out Tobias Harris' contract on him. I would have signed it too. Right?
No, when you put into the lens of that's a really solid perspective, because anybody in their right mind would have taken a contract like that. Even half. I would have taken half of that. Honestly. But yeah, it's like, at the time, that's what seemed like the right thing to do, was to give Harris the money, because they wanted him, they traded for him, they wanted to keep him. That was the right thing that the Sixers should have done at the time. And that was 3 years ago. So, in some people's eyes, what was good 3 years ago may not be good now, but again, it happened, it's done.
Yeah.
There's no reason to blame Harris for the contract. Like you said, he's not underperforming his contract. It's just a large contract. So when you look at it as, okay, well, he got paid this much, he should be doing this and this and this. We know what Harris is. We know what he is.
Right.
We know what he's going to give you. We know what his production's going to look like. And if the past 3 years weren't an indication of what he can do, which, again, last year, basically all-star. Year before that, pretty good. Year before that, very good. And then his whatever season with the Clippers, and when he came here.
Yeah.
Like, we know what he can do. Like, we know what he looks like at his best. So why are we going to, forget about what's happened in the past few years and look at what's happened in the past 20 games and say, right. Oh, yeah, he sucks. He shouldn't. And there was always those people who say he wasn't worth the contract.
Right.
Which, again, at the time, it was a good idea.
It's so easy to say he's not worth it, because, like, okay, yeah, should Tobias Harris be, like, the 8th highest paid player in all major sports? Mm-hmm. Probably not. Right. I'm with you. But, like, at the same time, don't get mad at Tobias for playing how Tobias plays. Mm-hmm. If you're going to get mad at somebody, get mad at the Sixers for giving him the money. Don't get mad at Tobias because his game didn't suddenly escalate to that of Kevin Durant just because he got paid like Kevin Durant. I mean, So he's playing like he always has, just with more money this year. It's like, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy, and it's not fair. I don't think to Tobias, because he signed the contract, he's getting paid, and he's playing how he always has. So
if anyone, I blame Elton Brand. I will always blame Elton Brand for anything. For anything that's ever happened with the Sixers, I will blame Elton Brand or I will blame the Colangelos, because those two are the reasons. Well, I guess it was Brian Colangelo, but those two are 90% of what's happened with the Sixers. Bad things, should I say, have been because of that, because of the choices that they made. So,
jeez. Exactly. Enough said. I'm laughing because I'm looking at the Heat box score. They hit 18 threes against us.
Again, I mean, not that Butler or Adebayo shoot/make a lot of threes. Hero does, but it's like, where are the Heat finding these players? How is Gabe Vincent lighting up the Sixers? Duncan Robinson, I know he's good. 21 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Extremely frustrating.
Yes, indeed. 15-15.
Yeah.
It's early, buddy. It's early. So we look ahead. New Orleans coming off that crazy game, obviously. What would you like to see on Sunday night? I know we want to see a healthy team. I don't know what we're going to get. But
I'd love to see a win. I'd love to see them beat the Pelicans by 20.
Please.
Pelicans are horrible. To put it simply, they're horrible. They suck. They literally suck.
9-21, yeah.
They are garbage. Like, they're literally second in the Western Conference. So it's like, they quite literally are the 4th worst team in the NBA.
Right.
I need to see the Sixers demolish them. Like, there's no excuse. That's what I said with the Grizzlies, too. The Grizzlies are a bit better than the Pelicans, even without John Morant, but I need to see them demolish the Pelicans. Like, that's not even up for discussion.
I think we all need it.
Yeah.
I think we all need a Sixers
straight punching bag on the
solid
Pelicans.
Win. Because we haven't had, I don't even know, I'm looking at it now. I feel like we haven't had a blowout win in a while.
Since November 18th, over a month ago almost. Well,
if
you count the Nuggets, if you count 14 point, no.
Yep, 14.
No, that's 24. Never mind. That's wait. No, that is
103.89. Yeah. We've had
If
some
you
blowout
count that,
losses since then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our last double-digit win is over a month ago, which in the NBA I feel like you see those more often than that, especially for the 76ers coming off being a 1 seed last year.
Yeah.
I mean, we've won a lot of games the last 3 years. You know what I mean? And to sit at 15-15 isn't the end of the world, but it's also like, let's get this thing rolling, man. We keep saying it, but I do think it's gonna come down to consistency and just like playing, staying as healthy as you can, and having guys out on the floor so that you can build chemistry. I mean, think about it. Like, Tyrese Maxey running the show at point, he's only played a handful of games with Joel Embiid and with Tobias Harris, and I mean, they're not gelling yet by any means. You know, it's still going to take time for them to build chemistry on the court together. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of this season, for the most part, so far, has been a lot of experimenting and a lot of adjusting. And most seasons are, especially when you have guys filling out into new roles. You know, luckily the Sixers didn't have too much roster turnover. They only signed 3 or 4 guys in the offseason. If you count Danny Green. Well, I wouldn't even count. You know what? No, it was only 2 because, well, I mean, the guys they drafted. I mean, well, Bassey, that's about it. And Jaden Springer doesn't even really. Anyway, You know what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. It's just like time. Like this team needs time. They need time. They need consistency. They need time. Again, health. Like you can't do much in the NBA if you're not healthy. Obviously, there's outliers to that statement, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Pretty like common knowledge. I feel as though it is.
Yeah. It's been an interesting year.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing how, last year was like the first start to a season with the whole COVID thing, and there were issues for all the teams then, especially for the Sixers. But Sixers kind of, I guess you can say, played through adversity in terms of like that kind of adversity last year better. Early on in the season at least, and. But yeah, so New Orleans on Sunday, followed by a trip up to Boston again on Monday. We've played Boston twice already, right? No.
Will this be the second time or the third time? Why no? I think the first time was mid-November. I'm sorry, December 1st.
December 1st. Okay, that's it. Yeah. No, don't get me started on that game ending. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Tobias Harris. Anyway.
Yeah,
how can we go up to Boston and get a win? Jaylen Brown, future 76er, or?
Yes, please. Count me in.
He's good.
Pelicans, Celtics, Hawks, Wizards, Raptors, Nets. Right. I mean, if we're being honest, the next 3 weeks of Sixers basketball, we should realistically see a lot of winning, because regardless of whether or not the Sixers have their full team. The teams they're playing suck. Rockets, Magic, Spurs, Wizards. I'm sorry, not Wizards. Wizards are kind of good, but I don't think that will last.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the Wizards.
Neither am I. But that's besides the point. Rockets, Spurs, Magic. These teams are not that good. Raptors are pretty average as well. So it's like something's got to give here. Something's got to give.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, an interesting schedule coming up. Let's just get some wins, man. It's just so depressing.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I mean,
every time they lose, it's like I'm on Instagram. I don't even go on Twitter that much anymore. I just can't even do it. It's just so like, it just gets so depressing on Twitter, on Sixers Twitter. Like a loss is like, okay, this team is horrible, let's trade everyone. And then on Instagram, it's like pretty much the same thing, but it's a little dialed down, which I can deal with that. And sometimes I just have to leave the app for a while. It's just too much. It's just, I need, like, I can't,
it's too much. No, I hear you.
Oh my gosh.
I hear you. Let me throw this one at you.
All right.
And then we can go wherever from this or
okay.
Call it a night. But
yeah,
30 games in, who is your, I don't even know what we want to call this, but give me a bright spot 30 games in from a player, and give me a player that, like, okay, step it up.
Seth Curry, Tobias Harris.
Okay. Yeah. Seth Curry is your bright spot. Tobias Harris is your step it up.
There's nothing to hate about Seth Curry as a player. Yeah. I'm not really sure how he is as a person, but as a player, he's fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely. Just beast, really.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go with Tyrese Maxey, bright spot. It's either one of those two, I feel like.
Yeah.
Either him or Seth. He personally, for me, like 30 games into the season, the games that he plays are just a lot more fun to watch. The dude is just so crafty. He's so quick. He's so fun. He's so young. He's so energetic. Like, he's just fun to watch play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was going to say something crazy, but I don't want to say it. I don't want to scare
anybody. No, let's hear it.
God.
Come on. All
right.
Don't do us like that, man. Come on.
So Tyrese Maxey,
You're going to say all-star, aren't you?
No, God, no.
Okay, all right. All right, go ahead.
Don't misunderstand what I'm saying here.
Okay.
Because I was watching the Sixers the other night, and I was watching Tyrese, and I was watching him, just fly up and down the court and get crafty in the lane and just what he does. And I was like, man, the Sixers haven't had a guy like that since Allen Iverson.
Even worse. All right,
show's
over. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. But, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, when's the last time on a Sixers team that is a contender? Now, I get we've had some guards that made some stuff happen on those bad teams back in the day. But, for the last 5 years, it's been Ben Simmons. He isn't that. Like, when have you seen a guy that just has that burst, has that speed, has that willingness to attack? I am not saying he's Allen Iverson, but he makes the game fun to watch, I think, in that same way that Allen Iverson could.
I mean, I understand it. I don't know if I. So let me. I'm not accusing you. I just want to make sure you're not comparing him to Iverson, right?
No.
I know you're not. I know you're not. I'm just I see what you're saying because I mean, I agree. Like we've been talking about Maxey all season. Like he's literally a beast. He just quick first step, great handle on the ball, great at getting to the rim, great at drawing contact.
Yeah.
Super athletic, so I see it. Okay. I'll give you that. I'll give it to you.
Right, because I just, I can't.
I'm feeling generous.
I can't, thank you. I can't think of a guy in the last X amount of years since Iverson that's had that kind of it factor to him where they can, get into the lane like that. He is not Allen Iverson and never will be, for being completely honest. But he makes Sixers games fun, especially when you're 15-15. You got to think for a bright spot. So Tyrese Maxey's my bright spot. Yeah. My call for someone to step it up is Mr. Embiid.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Now, I'm not saying that Embiid has been bad. I'm not saying any of that. I think he's been good. He's been limited. He's only played in 19 of the 30 games. He's averaging just over 24, almost 11 rebounds, shooting it pretty well from three. Like, that area, there's hard to find things that you don't like. Just in terms of averages on the season and stuff, but just to, I don't know, man. The way Kevin Durant closed out the game yesterday is what I want to see from Joel. Not doing what Kevin Durant did, but just demanding the ball and playing through him and making tough baskets. Because he had a couple baskets, come off the rim. With Blake Griffin on him yesterday toward the end of the game, that I'm just like, man, I wish that would have dropped. Because we've said it over and over, who are the Sixers going to late in the game? That horrendous game a month ago against Boston where there was no Tyrese on the floor, no Shake on the floor. Tobias Harris didn't know what to do with the ball. Now, is it always ideal for the center to get the ball in those situations? No, but just, I don't know. I just want to see him step up, step up in the late game. Play, and he's done that. He seems like anytime he's sitting, it's not his choice. It's the coaches and stuff. Yep. But I don't know, man. I just think, especially if a trade or whatever for number 25 doesn't happen soon, this team's going to go as Joel goes, I think, at least regular season wise. And so, he wants this. So go get it, man. Take it. Take us, big fella. Carry us to a top 4 seed. I don't know what it's going to look like this year. I don't know what the goal is, but do it. That's my thought.
I mean, listen, I'll end with this. I don't know if you won't have anything else to say.
No, let's hear it.
Again, say it. But this is all. I just nothing. No hot takes or anything. I agree. It's I'm sure that a lot of people would interpret that as you're saying Embiid sucks. That's just how it is. That's how people see it nowadays for some reason. If you make a remark about a player, you think they suck automatically. Right. But, people don't understand. You just want to see some more from them. You like the player. You just want to see more from them. And, yeah, going back to what I was... I agree. I see it because, yes, Embiid has been good, but to the Embiid standard, no, he has not been great.
Right.
And I see this happening with Anthony Davis as well in the Lakers. He's been awesome, but to an Anthony Davis standard, he's been literally poop. So, there needs to be some sort of, and again, both players quite injury prone. Both players have their issues staying in the lineup. So that needs work. And also when they're playing, they need to play as they should, which is at their best, which they aren't always able to do. So that's all.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. There's a difference in Joel Embiid standards. You know what I mean? Me saying Joel Embiid needs to step up isn't me saying that he's playing worse than anybody else on the Sixers team. It's saying, Joel, you're like, he wants it. What I ended with, like, he wants this. Like, he wants to be the man. And he wants to do something special in this city. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't follow Philly sports that much. I don't live in the area. I mean, I don't know if he's the most beloved athlete in Philly right now.
I don't even follow all Philly sports either. I'm mostly just a Sixers fan. But I think he is. I mean,
Bryce Harper, I know, won the MVP in the National League for the Phillies this year. The Eagles suck. I don't know. But, I mean, he's so good and so talented and so gifted and so capable and so loved in this city. It's just like, man, go and be that guy, So that's what I want to see from Joel. I'm not saying he sucks. I'm saying that he puts a lot of pressure on himself, and so I want to apply some more pressure on him and say, let's go perform.
Just a little bit.
Do something magical. He had MVP expectations, and he's nowhere near the conversation this year. But it doesn't mean he can't start playing at that level like where he was last year. So that's all I'll say on that. We've had some interesting conversations tonight. For sure. This is episode 32 of Planet 76. Whatever platform you are on, please subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube right now, please subscribe to the podcast. We would love for you to just be in the know of when we're dropping new content. Same thing with Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Pocket Cast. We're everywhere, man. So, tell a friend, tell whoever it is, go listen to Planet 76. We produce content at least once a week. And, that's Michael. I'm pointing somewhere to him. I don't know what side he's on of the video, but that's Michael. I'm Troy. And this has been episode 32 of Planet 76. Are you on Instagram? Why don't you go give us a follow at Planet 76 Podcast so you can be in the know when we drop new episodes. Thanks for listening to this one, and we'll see you next time.